Hello, I'm Scott VanderSanden, and I'm the president of AT&T here in Wisconsin. I started with the phone company in 1989, so if you look at the 23 years, it's kind of broken up into thirds. The first third I dealt with federal policy issues, the FCC, advocacy on behalf of the phone company. The middle third I dealt with state policy issues, largely at the Public Service Commission here in Madison. And the last third now has been dealing with the responsibilities of being president. Well, the advice was it's not the what, but it's the how. And by that I mean, in a company you oftentimes get wrapped up in the report or developing the accuracy of things. And while that's important, ultimately from a management perspective, I think how you convey that information and how you interface with the folks that work for you is more important. And so it's not the what, it's the how. Well, fortunately, working for AT&T, a fair amount of the changes are driven by AT&T out of our Bell Labs out on the East Coast, so I get a fair amount of information internally, and obviously I keep abreast that way. In addition to that, I do the normal sort of stuff. I read the trade magazines and trade publications, and I do a fair amount of checking the web. In today's world, there's so much information that comes across that on a daily basis. Those are the three main sources, I suppose. Truthfully, probably in this position develops or is very involved in relationships. And so as you continue to develop them and deepen those relationships, you actually become more impactful, maybe more valuable to the corporation. So, I would ideally see myself in this position somewhere in Wisconsin or Madison as I am today. Many of the folks that work for me have jobs that depend on the depth of their relationship, and so while you'd like to be very objective, much of what my talent evaluation, if you will, deals with subjective measures. And so for me to do it, I think most effectively, I watch the person work, I have some experience with them, and over time you get a sense of whether they'll be able to move on and expand their set of responsibilities. But again, like I said, much of it is subjective. I believe the fairest answer to that is my secret desire is to be the best golfer I can be. Something I've shared with some other folks that know me. When I turn 50, I'd like to have a low enough handicap to be able to try to qualify for the U.S. Open. I'd be proud professionally if people said about me 10 years from now or so that when given a chance to be involved in the policy debate, I took it, and I did so in a way that benefited the state of Wisconsin, and by that I mean the overall residents of the state of Wisconsin. I have long roots in the state of Wisconsin, familial roots, and I'd like to see Wisconsin be as strong as it can be, and I'd like to some extent, have a hand in that. So to the extent that's a legacy, I'd like to say, people said, he got involved and he tried to make a positive impact.
Video services provided by Madison Productions.